If you're a videographer or photographer in the wedding industry and you're currently struggling to find a fast yet an effective workflow to maximize your time and productivity while still having some time to relax and spend time with your family, having effective systems and automations is crucial to running any type of business. Hey guys, my name is Aiden, and in today's video, we're going to be going over all of my systems and automations and everything that I've been using to run my business for the past 3 years and save me lots of time and loads of stress. We'll be sure to cover all workflows from onboarding clients all the way to sending them their final product. Without further ado, let's dive in. So the first chapter that I want to cover is having a basic website or portfolio. All right, so this doesn't have to be anything too crazy, but it does have to look presentable for your clients. Now, none of these apps or softwares / connections are not sponsored at all in this video. All right, this is just what I've been using. This is what I've enjoyed using for, my automations, everything to run my business. All right, so I'll make sure to leave all of these automations, connections, and websites, softwares down in the description below. So I've been using Wix.com for the past 3 years to build my website. You can also use the free version of this. It'll just include a Wix watermark, and you can get your domain. That just makes things really easy to kind of store your gallery on. As you can see here on our website, we've got a pretty big gallery right here that our clients can look at. All of our clients can view our highlight films right here, and it's awesome. So your website, it should look presentable. You should have a little bit about you. Obviously, we've got me and Haley here, a little bit about our story. Got a great about page. I love it. It's awesome. We've got the team here. Provide a lot of info about you, who you are, where you started, why you're doing this. We've got frequently asked questions. We've got testimonials. And then lastly, the connect page, which we'll actually be talking about next. But before we move on to that, I do want to talk about Google Calendar. All right. Google Calendar has been a lifesaver for me, all right? This is the lifeline of my business. And I say lifeline because you don't want to miss anything, all right? You don't want to miss a consultation. I've learned that the hard way. That's why I'm so strict with my Google Calendar and making sure I immediately label everything on my Google Calendar right after we talk about scheduling a meeting. Even if I'm in a distracting environment, if someone's talking to me, sometimes I'll just plan out ignore them and just politely say, 1 second. I need to put something on my calendar real fast. And I am in the zone when I'm marking things on my calendar because I don't want to forget about anything. God forbid, if you miss a wedding, you're probably screwed. You might even get sued for that. So thankfully, we've never missed a wedding. I hope you haven't, but I've heard of horror stories because of this reason. So having a Google Calendar is very important. I specifically use Google Calendar because you can connect it to things like QuickBooks and Honeybook. So Google Calendar is great for planning consultations, weddings, marking down inquiries, and other projects so you don't forget about them. So as you can see here, I've got my Aiden Davis Productions business calendar. All right, it's also connected to Honeybook, as you can see here, and everything in yellow is related to my business, as well as purple. Usually purple is just marked as inquiries, as I have Honeybook only marking down inquiries when they come through my contact page. And we'll get into the contact page here in a second. But as you can see here, immediately after the client books with us, I will make sure to go in and mark down their wedding day. That way I know it's just kind of like a double line of security. Honeybook will also make sure to change their inquiry into a project. On Saturday, we've got a wedding, so we've marked it annually, and Honeybook has also added that as well. I like to make sure everything is on my Aiden Davis Productions business calendar as well as my Honeybook calendar. Now, this is an inquiry for this day, but unfortunately, we just have to respectfully decline that wedding and let them know that we're unavailable because we've got another wedding booked for that day. But we always make sure to send those types of people or inquiries a vendor referral. A vendor referral basically just has everyone you've worked with in your experience, or people that you know of in your area that you can send to clients like that, where you might be unavailable for their wedding day. So moving on to my favorite software that we use, and that is Honeybook. All right, Honeybook is great for CRMs, automations, templates, basically everything you can think of related to your client portals. As you can see here, we've got 82 active projects right now, and then 49 archived projects because we've basically completely finished that project. A lot of these are also just, spam and whatnot, but that is basically counting all of these and then the archived projects. Not really sure why it says active projects, but that basically just keeps all of the projects that have came through in that box right there. Now going back to our website, we've got a contact page. All right, so this contact form is an embedded code made by Honeybook so that we can paste it into our website. And because, it's linked to Honeybook, it's also linked to my Google Calendar. Everything's kind of linked together, so it makes the process 10 times faster and easier. Once clients fill this contact form out, as you can see, it's got their full name, email, project date, so we can tell if we've still got their date available, they've got their venue, and then how they heard about us. But yeah, after they've submitted that contact form, it immediately puts it into the calendar as well as this inquiry box within Honeybook. I'll get a notification. I can easily respond to them through Honeybook, and that basically just sends them an email. Once I've responded to them, it moves them automatically to the follow-up box. All right, I've basically created all of these boxes. You can create whatever you want as well, whatever works best for you. This is just what works best for me. We've got all the follow-ups. Most of the time they'll respond, but we've just got 22 people who are who we're waiting to hear back from. But obviously, these were like a long time ago, so who knows if they'll respond. We need to archive some of these. If they're good to go for a meeting, I'll schedule a meeting for them. It'll move into the meeting phase. And then after that, we have a consultation with them. All right. We can share proposals with them, send them our pricing, talk about the packages, get to know them and everything. Then after the call, we'll send them that proposal. Once that proposal is sent, it'll move into the proposal sent box. And then, once they've signed everything, it'll move into that. Retainer paid. The retainer, it's just included with the project price. That retainer and agreement is basically what locks their date in. And then we're moving on to the planning phase. So 30 days before the wedding, I'll make sure to send them a planning questionnaire just to make sure they're putting in any details or anything like that to make sure the day goes as smooth as possible with us. If there's any shot ideas that they want, if there's anything specifically that they're wanting, they can include their timeline in there as well, which is nice. Then we'll go ahead, film their wedding day. And then once we have sent them their final videography packages, we can move it on to the completed phase. So these are just all different phases that you can have your client portals go through, and it's awesome. It's great with the automations. It's great with templates. As you can see here, these are all of the templates that we've made that we use most of the time. So we've got a referral list that we can send to clients who have actually reached out to us but we're unavailable because we've got another wedding booked for them. So we'll usually just send them our referral list so we can still help them out. And then we've got our final videography package. That's what we use to send to our clients. We've got our wedding videography planning questionnaire. And again, that's just what we use to send to our couples 30 days before their wedding. We'll also hop on a planning call with them, go over any questions they've got, last details, and that's just to make sure their day goes as smooth as possible. They can upload a PDF of their timeline in there, so that's nice to have. And then we've got our packages, all right? So during the call, we'll go over the pricing and packages with them, but we'll also be sure to send these proposals to them after the call. That way they can think about if they want to book with us. A lot of the times we will, try not to pressure the couple, but make sure they're just feeling as comfortable as possible when booking with us on the call. We'll usually give them around 24 to 48 hours to think about booking with us because, dates are filling up quite fast for 2024, 2025, 2026. And then once they've booked with us, we're good to go. So that's kind of how Honeybook works. It's got your finances. You can connect your bank account. You can connect Quickbooks to this, which is nice. We'll talk about that later. You've got different tools. Like I said, you can connect your calendar to this. You can schedule things. You got integrations. You got automations, templates, files, clients, projects, and so on. So Honeybook is great for client management. So kind of moving on to chapter 5 now, contracts. Contracts upon contracts. All right. So contracts, I've said that 20 times now. Contracts are super important for you. It protects both you and your client. If you don't have one of these, you are just asking to get either sued or in a lot of trouble. Either way, it's not good if you don't have one, especially for weddings. It's just anything could happen during a wedding day. Having something to protect both you and the client, it's great to have that written agreement signed and on file. When I created my contract, I made sure to go over it with, my parents and their lawyer. And they basically were just like, yep, it's good to go. But you can also find contracts online. All right. So like I said, none of these programs or anything like that are sponsored. This is just everything that I've been using with my experience and what I think works best for me. All right. So again, none of this is sponsored, but a good website for downloading contracts and customizing some contracts is legalpage.com. So as far as I know, legalpage.com is just a website that has a ton of contracts for wedding vendors that they can download and that they can use for them and their client. I believe the owner of this used to be a photographer, and she then became a lawyer. So it sounds like she was able to make some contracts for wedding vendors, which is super nice to have. I'll make sure to link everything that I'm using to manage my business down in the description so that you can use as well. These contracts are a little bit pricey, but they will save your butt any situation. All right. So go to LegalPage, download a contract. If you know a lawyer, feel free to go over it with them and make sure you are not getting sued. Moving on to my pricing. All right. So I'm not going to get too much into my pricing just because I kind of keep things forbidden for clients. But because we're on this topic, I do want to talk to you guys about this pricing structure that I've made within Notion. All right. You can download this in the description. It's great. It's just a Notion template. So if you've downloaded the Notion app, it's completely free and it works great for me. So a little bit of a reason on why you should structure your pricing is because clients can ask for anything. If you just work off of, a fixed rate, then that's awesome. But I know a lot of clients like to add on to certain packages. So as you can see here, if we scroll down, we've got pricing for wedding videography. All right. So we've got all these rates, quantities, and total costs that we can calculate even on the calls with the clients that they ask about it. So let's start with our gold package. Let's say a client wants to book with that. All right. So we'll go in here. We'll open this and let's see, it's got 6 hours of coverage, a 5 to 6 minute highlight film, and then vows and speeches. So that's everything that is included with this fixed price here. Let's say they want the gold package. All right. So we'll mark down one of those. If they want a week of trailer, we'll mark that down. All right. That's just $300. We got one of those. And then maybe they want 2 extra hours of videography services. So we'll mark down 2 extra hours for that, and that brings the grand total to $2,800. If they don't want any of that, it's just $2,100 for the gold package. So these are just sample prices. These could look a lot different from what we are using, but always make sure to include sales tax, any other taxes, depending on what applies to you. I know some states don't charge sales tax for videography services because it's a non-tangible product, but unfortunately, some of these tax regulations have changed recently.
Are you crying? What's that? Are you crying? Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
So you can download that template in my description. It's completely free. Feel free to use it anytime you want when you're onboarding clients. Hey, girl.
Hey, dude. Your drink smells so good.
Really?
No, sit. No. You don't jump. No.
How you doing?
Good. I hope I didn't do bad on this exam, but...
Moving on to chapter 7, we are talking about finances in QuickBooks. All right, so I use QuickBooks Online to manage all my bookkeeping, my tax planning, and just financial stuff. Now, I'm an absolute kindergartner when it comes to financial planning and taxes. So I've made sure to add an accountant to my QuickBooks. I'm actually meeting with a new accountant here next month, so hopefully we'll get that figured out because something is wrong with Honeybook and QuickBooks syncing. All right. It's counting both my invoices and deposits for the same project, and it's almost doubling. So really for July and September, my net profit should only be around $10,000 to $11,000 for each of those 2 months. But yeah, this is basically how I manage everything. This is great for recording expenses, writing things off for tax season. You can track things like mileage. You can add contractors, vendors on there. You can also file 1099s. You've got some tax options here that you can go through, but really, I just want a CPA to do this for me. It is pretty complicated as you start making more money. Honestly, I'm not sure if this number is right or wrong. It's just to the best of my knowledge, all right? Really, all I do in here is just bookkeeping and making sure that all of my transactions are being categorized correctly. So you can also sync this with Honeybook as well as your bank account, which is very nice because it kind of keeps everything all in one place. Again, kind of going back to that lawyer stuff with contracts, don't take any of my advice. I am no lawyer or tax financial professional, so definitely check with your professionals in your area and see if everything is looking right for you with your QuickBooks and contracts. And then last but not least, we are using Premiere Pro for our editing services. So once we are done filming the wedding, we will back up all of our footage into 3 separate backup drives. A lot of storage. Make sure to back up all your files immediately after you're done filming the wedding so nothing happens to your guys' footage. So with our turnaround time, it typically takes us around 1 to 2 months during our busy season to edit a wedding. All right, we've got lots of weddings that we're filming during our busy season, and that leads to a lot of backlogs. All right, so I think that's a word, where we've just got kind of like these recent weddings on deck ready to be edited, but really we're only editing 1 to 2 wedding projects at a time. So with editing weddings, I use Premiere Pro. It's what I've been using for the past 7 years, and it has worked great. If you've got a fast computer, if you've got fast SSDs, Premiere Pro will work perfectly fine, as long as you've just got enough memory and space on your internal drives on your computer. You should be fine. Sometimes it crashes, most of the time it does not, but I'm always making sure to automatically save my files every 5 minutes so I don't lose any progress. So that's the nice thing about Premiere. You can also use Final Cut, really any other software you guys want to use. As long as you're able to just capture your couple's story and express their story through motion, audio, that's really all there is to it. After we're done editing their videos, it's now time to send them their final videography package. So right now we're using Pixieset. We're eventually going to move to a website called Vidflow, where we can deliver our packages. Right now we've just started with Pixieset. So if we go into our client gallery, we can go in here and manage all of our collections. All right, so these are all of the weddings that we've recently delivered. All right, so we've got Gracie and Eddie's wedding right here. We've got my cousin's wedding right there. And then just a couple of corporate stuff that we've done as well. But this is really how we send them their packages. So if we go to Hattie and Brandon's wedding, we were able to share a direct link with them. And that way they can kind of view their videos on their own little website. So as you can see here, they've got their own little website with Pixieset. I've got my website right here that they can click on. It's just a really nice way to kind of send packages to your clients and have them download it. Pixieset is also great for photos. We've got their highlight film here. They've got the speeches, vows, full ceremony video, and then they also did a groom's hype video, which was awesome. They can all download them from here. They can share them to their family members or friends. And it's cool because it's just all it's an all-in-one kind of website for them that they can use. I'm about to crash. Thank God Haley got this coffee for me, but I'm losing my words here. So that is pretty much my entire workflow for everything I do on my computer to run my business. Again, everything is linked down in everything is linked in the description, so you can download, look at anything you want throughout there. And yeah, so I hope you have the best success with all of these connections, and I wish you the best. Thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, please do. Please like this video, and we'll see you next time.